So team, 15 rules for the future. Watch this video, allow yourself to actually marinate in what is being said and let me know in comments, do you agree? Is the world going to be a better place or not? Or is it already too late in many ways? This is your chance to have a platform and let me know in comments exactly what you extrapolated from this video this Sunday. See ya. Bye.
I am out here for you. You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you.
We choose truth over facts.
Never go full retard.
Come on, man.
Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from the trenches with Kaz on Sunday, and we are here today to give you a video. But I've decided to do something a bit different. Context. We're going to learn about the new rules for the future. So we learn something new together, a conversation you can take into Monday, despite the fact you can't tell me why I don't like Mondays. Bob Geldof. So guys and gals, let's see what we think about this. Put the comments below on what you agree with. And let's learn what the new rules are, because everyone can feel not necessarily that the world is slipping, but it's changing. And the same rules don't apply. They don't apply for finance. They don't apply for warfare, teaching, love, family, religion. So let's have a look at this and do it together. Extrapolate some information by someone maybe smarter than us or illuminated has put the hard work in. Let's have a look at it and do it together. And subscribe to the channel that will always bring you something new on a Sunday, preparing you for a goddamn Monday. Hit the like button if you want. I don't know if it makes any goddamn difference. Let's see. Coca-Cola, do you want to sponsor us? Nothing's been brushing British teeth better. So this is called The World Has Changed. Here are the new rules. This goes for a little while, so let's enjoy it together, shall we?
The world of today and that of tomorrow is radically different than that of yesterday. We're going through the biggest transfer of wealth and the biggest societal and cultural change in modern history. By the end of this video, you'll understand what's 1 or 2 steps ahead. So get ready, as today we're looking at 15 changes of the new world.
The biggest change is we have to be able to change. I can already feel like I'm scared of updating to the new iPhone 14 Max Pro in case I can't remember my logon details. I get scared of technology and imagine what it's going to be like for those that are older than me. I'm 51, Area 51. What scares you about the future? Do you think you're going to be able to adapt?
Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello Aluxers, and welcome back to the Sunday motivational video as we equip you with the knowledge to navigate the world that's around the corner. You're probably feeling it as well, but the world around us is changing at an accelerated pace. So here are the biggest changes that you'll experience. Number 1, you don't need degrees.
Well, that's a big one. Straight up. Are they talking about university? Let's go.
Schools as we know it are done. The university experience is over. Kids today are learning from home over Zoom. The local teachers weren't equipped in the past to train kids to navigate the world they'll be immersed in even a decade ago. The pandemic was the last nail in the coffin of a dramatically outdated educational system. Why do you have
I totally agree with this. I think school teachers are the same as your news readers. They don't have time to be the journalist anymore to find out if the information is even legit. They're tied to their training curriculum to be able to regurgitate what they see, what they get told they must give in tomorrow's lessons. And therefore, what we're hearing is people that are not necessarily even agreeing with the curriculum that they're giving, but the tenure doesn't prevent them, okay, from being replaced by someone who actually does have that critical time. And would you rather one teacher or 200 teachers that you choose their method of delivery?
Have a bored, underpaid, and underqualified teacher explain to your kids things that they can learn in the same fashion from the absolute best in their field. Picture.
Is there any teachers there? Let us know what you think of this in comments. Are you feeling a bit butt jaded, or do you agree? Have you tried to actually say, hey, I don't believe in this, that, or the other? Shouldn't we be teaching this, that, or the other? And get told by your own teachers bored. No. Okay, your job is to deliver what we tell you to deliver, despite the fact that it might not be relevant, it might be redundant for a successful life. After all, the school and university is all about making a cookie cutter version of what the teacher is giving. It's not about teaching you to live. It's about memorizing something that's going to be in a test that has no effect on your life when you graduate.
This, the best math teacher in the world teaching math to everyone. It's not a problem of scale anymore. Teachers still have a function as follow-ups to the lesson and offering support in the educational journey of the child, but they're no longer the primary education source. Teachers should be paid like athletes, where the absolute best of the best earn ridiculous sums of money because they're the ones
Meritocracy.
returning the most value for the consumer. We're experiencing a drastic shift in education. You're asking kids to be focused in a 4 to 5 hour Zoom call when you know damn well you wouldn't be able to do that. Education will be gamified in the next 3 years. You should be able to cooperate and enjoy the puzzle of learning. Companies like Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft could easily serve as gateways to an educational metaverse that's built properly. We see no reason why true education focused on teaching you how to problem solve and make decisions couldn't be gamified, as opposed to the traditional model focused on memorization and regurgitation of meaningless information.
Yep.
Number 2, hours in the office don't matter. Nobody should care how long it takes for you to get the job done. Payment for services will soon be priced differently. Pay by the service instead of payment by the hour. Payment by hour incentivizes the service provider to take a longer time to finish their work, when it should be the other way around. Why are
The tradies know about this. If you pay someone by the hour, there's always extra hours, isn't there? Instead of job completion. But with good inspection of work delivered while the tradesman is there to the standard, otherwise they have to fix on the spot.
are we punishing those who are really good at their job and can get the same work done at a fraction of the time spent? The old system is flawed. With the rise of smart contracts and oracles that are able to read real-life data and securely send proof to the contract, work based on results is a superior form of remuneration. As for those few things where deliveries are dependent on time quantity, such as entertainment or one-on-one counseling, live streaming payments are already
Good time to get on Patreon, team. Join us on that bat phone as this channel is further and further disappearing in YouTube's algorithm. If you want to talk to me one-on-one about everything to do with military, maybe a bit of life coach, whatever you want, title you want to give me, jump on there. The link will be below, because everyone needs someone that they can have in their corner as their battle buddy. One-on-one consulting. Yep.
being tested. Instead of paying for the full price of an online self-development conference, you could stream only the speaker of your choosing, and not minute by minute, but second by second of content. The total cost would be incrementally lower than the entire ticket price. Premium content consumption will soon be treated as utility. Think about it. You pay for electricity based on how much of it you consume. Number 3, your office or business is your laptop. Office buildings have taken over cities and have crushed the soul of the community in the process. Instead of having beautiful cities, we've been crushed with glass skyscrapers and neon lighting. What a horrible way to live. Nobody wants to come to the office anymore. Why waste hours of the day in transit when you can get the same work done from your laptop and use the remaining time to spend with your
I don't understand why the model has not been picked up by a furniture delivery system, which basically comes to your house, makes you a work from home agent, and what happens is you get an entire room of the house that is dedicated to your office, where they come and fit that out with all the OH&S requirements of a modern office building. And from there, basically, your output is still easy to calculate. You either do your job or you don't do your job, and you do it to a great level, average level, or below average level. Now, what a great company. We come to your house, we deck it out, you get to claim your office on tax, which means you get to claim a better house, afford the repayments a bit better, and we see the actual city start to degrade into what is a beautiful place.
your kids or on your hobbies. The trade is obvious. The entire commercial real estate market is suffering, with a big focus on office buildings. For the first time since the Industrial Revolution, we're looking at the collapse of the workplace. Building owners are converting their office buildings into apartments in a last-ditch effort to capture value. In fact, the number of office buildings converting to apartment spaces has almost doubled in 2021 compared to 2020. 41% of all conversions have been from corporate to residential. Your home has never been more important, which is why prices are going up like crazy. Real estate is proving to be the second best store of value.
Imagine living in Ballina, going for a morning surf, afternoon surf, eating hot chips, 2-minute walk to where you get your coffee from, but you're actually working in Sydney, getting Sydney premium prices and wages. Sounds good. Club sandwich. Yes, please.
Value in this decade, competing with Bitcoin. With software eating the world, there isn't much left for it to eat. We're approaching the complete softwareization of the market, and your entire business will be run from a single laptop that you can carry with you no matter where you choose to live. Number 4. Patriotism is replaced by chosen communities.
I totally agree with this and see where this is coming. And what I use is basically the US model here when you see the Democrats and the Republicans are two completely different tribes in any other time of existence. Now, if you could go to somewhere that says, okay, if you want to be like that, then that is who lives in this location. If you want to be like that, that is who lives in this location. But just make sure you pick the right side.
A continuous loss of trust between the populace and the government. People are no longer trusting their elected officials to make the best decision for the masses. We know they're corrupt, we know they bow their heads to big corporations, and we know they couldn't care less about what we need or want, but would sacrifice you in the blink of an eye for their own betterment. That's why people no longer have that attachment to the home.
Have you noticed that all the countries are providing to Ukraine military arms and training, but not a peaceful solution? That doesn't make sense, does it? Can your kid go over there and do this for Ukraine without us actually say we're fighting Russia?
Home ground. The sense of belonging is no longer there. Nobody is representing you anymore. So we find communities of our own. We congregate around communities that share our values, our desires, and our purposes. This has been reflected in our behaviors on social media apps as well. Community-driven apps and features have seen a massive tick in adoption. Communities are center stage of the new world. Since you can live anywhere, work from anywhere, and most of our active time is spent online, digital communities are becoming the norm. People will work for money, but they will die for recognition and to protect what they believe in. Patriotism is struggling with the second half, and we're seeing massive migrations around the world where people want better returns for their contributions. The healthcare system in the U.S.
You mean they want better unemployment options? They want everything for free in a place that's safer after making an absolute dog shit mess of their own places? What we need to do is make sure you get rid of dual citizenship. If you go from one country to another country, you lose all ties, everything that comes with the old nation. You don't get the benefits of both. Give something to get something.
Is a joke. Tax brackets in California have transformed Los Angeles into a barely livable city. This is why Americans are moving to Puerto Rico and Europeans are buying secondary homes in Emirates like Dubai. Number 5. Platforms are stronger than governments.
Yep.
We saw this firsthand when Facebook was deciding players in the United States elections and the Brexit referendum in the UK. Nothing has been more humiliating to a nation-state than when Twitter decides to turn off the mic on the President of the United States, Donald Trump. It doesn't matter who the person is holding the mic, but take a moment to think about the idea that a technology platform has the power to mute the leader of the most powerful military and one of the most...
You're actually shutting up a title, a position, not the necessarily the person who had really some of the best actual policies I've ever heard of and actually paid out on it. Compare it to what's happening now, he was 10 out of 10.
powerful economies in the world. If you can silence a king, you are the king. This is brewing a hatred toward private enterprise that's meddling with basic human freedoms. Humanity doesn't want to have their digital presence monitored by Zuckerberg, or free speech to be banned and deplatformed if you go against the consensus of the cancel culture mob. This is why Facebook is losing users. This is why Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse will never become a reality. And when we say metaverse, we're basically talking about the new version of the internet that's coming under development. Sure, platforms like Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram can have their own room in the metaverse, but we sure as hell don't think it's a good idea for them to control the doors in the hallways. This is an idea that we've discussed with the founder of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin. If platforms are now stronger than governments, then communities are able to...
Like, everyone mocks cryptocurrency. I lost a lot of money in it last year, to tell you the truth. Maybe because I pushed my bid too early, maybe because it's not what they say it is. But at the end of the day, what I believe is going to happen, call this a premonition, call this a oracle moment. I believe the reason why governments are against crypto is because it's going to compete with a crypto coin they're going to bring out themselves. It makes sense. Cash now not even being accepted in many locations. Tap and wave, go broke, one app at a time. Makes sense. There's something coming and we can all feel it. Cash is not king anymore. Compliance is.
To make or break platforms. It's time for an upgrade on the platform side of things as well. Number 6. The internet is the largest marketplace to ever exist. Every year, the United Nations publishes a long report on trade and development. We've read the entire 238-page document, so you don't have to. But the conclusions are pretty clear. It's been estimated that the global internet traffic in 2022 will exceed all the internet traffic up to 2016. Emerging countries are accelerating their adoption of the internet and being onboarded onto online commerce and content consumption. Digital goods are on the rise as well, and there are even multiple experts expecting the digital goods marketplace to rival that of physical goods in the following decades. Media is already a fully digital marketplace, and with the rise of digital scarcity through NFTs, most physical goods will be tracked and owned through digital correspondence. When you buy a house, you get your ownership papers. You get a copy, the notary keeps a copy, and the...
I think we're getting closer and closer to small home designs like you see from Boxall and other companies like that, where families are getting smaller, if existing at all, where people are in perpetuity single for the rest of their life because of being born with their father's looks, if they had one, etc., and the complexities of the petri dish, which is the confusion of modern society. And I think what's going to occur is the online life is going to actually be more important than the gated community that you live in. As we see Starlink coming into place, this means that the internet will be everywhere. And as inflation continues and apps become the gateway to everything in this world, to how we get from A to B, to the food and stores that come to where we are, I think we're going to see more spread out communities where people tend to travel to somewhere where they can afford but still live at the same lifestyle as those that live in inner city.
The local government keeps a third. What if all of them are destroyed? You lose your proof of ownership. This is exactly what ISIS did when they infiltrated Mosul. They burned land records to cause complete chaos. But with the proof of ownership in digital ledgers, property can be traded from anywhere in the world. We're investors in a blockchain-based company that is tokenizing real estate assets. Basically, you can fractionally own a building on the other side of the world legally. The rent gets distributed to the token holders. Tokenized ownership and fractional investments are one of the biggest financial breakthroughs of our generation. If in the past it was only the privileged to have the option of using financial instruments to build wealth, the internet, and more precisely the new internet, will allow anyone from anywhere in the world to use even more powerful tools than ever available before. Number 7. Find your sense of purpose or feel lost. Society is changing fast.
This is going to be an interesting one because I think one of the most important things that we're on this world for, that we're not allowed to talk about, is the biology of men and women. We're seeing a massive reduction in marriages, the union of men and women, of relationships, of fatherhood, of motherhood, of a combination, sharing the difficulties of the growth of a child competing with a teacher who's teaching the opposite to the value systems of the parent, where they're not allowed to step in or even go onto school property like the school my daughter goes to. The mission to find a soulmate, a love interest, someone to hold hands with, that is going to be the hardest dilemma in future society, as the majority of men are invisible, despite the fact of them being law-abiding, despite the fact of being hardworking, ability to provide, etc. It is a confusion. There's a trend message, whether it be from the Kardashians, whether it be from Hollywood, whether it be from emerging boss babe technologies that are all falling on their ass. It's actually caused a pollution that is preventing love, family, happiness, and well-being from happening. And the doctors and the psychologists and the psychiatrists that never cure anyone, who get paid through the teeth to listen to your problems, pretend they're your friend until the next person goes ding on the door. Yeah, it's taken over. Get a dog. Animals, pets are replacing children. Our population, I believe, is starting to go down.
We've seen a decline of church and religion. This has made society more materializing and more pragmatic with their actions. It's allowed our civilization to become richer and richer from a material perspective. We've run the experiment long enough, and the data shows that religion keeps people poor. The richer the population of a country, the less religion has a direct impact. But in the process of ridding ourselves of religion, and if you've been an ALUXer for any amount of time, you know damn well where we stand on this front. We all lose something as collateral damage. It has to do with the idea of belonging to a physical community with a spiritual.
What is your definition of rich? Is it being in a house by yourself with extra zeros on the end of a digital number? Surrounded by material things that you'll never touch, that are just there to make a bad feeling of loneliness dissipate for a little while, as you take stock of the fact that there's those that own almost nothing but have a table that is always packed with kids and family and extended family playing over a home-cooked meal, laughing at how many entrepreneurs sit at a 12-seat table by themselves at night.
Conscience. This new generation is feeling a little lost and alone. Talk to any 20 or 30-year-old and you'll see that outside of immediate family and 1 to 2 close friends, they experience feelings of loneliness. This generation is searching for meaning. Their entire world is in chaos and the rules of the game are changing before their eyes. They grew up in a world that is no longer there as they matured. Value systems are evolving as well. This is the main reason why we've seen a rise in social issues. People simply want to belong, so they join groups that accept them.
The wrong groups.
Number 8. Your online reputation is your CV. With degrees becoming irrelevant, we still need to see proof of ability if we're going to engage in economic trade. That's where your online activity comes into play. Twitter is your resume. Your YouTube channel is your interview or proof of work. Showcase what you build, and those who want to buy it or hire you will find you if you're good enough. We receive countless emails from people wanting to join the ALUX team, but they never mention what they're able to bring to the table. Here's a pro tip. If you want to get a job at any company in the world, start working as if you were working for the company already. We guarantee that if what you put out there is valuable and contributing to the success of the company, they will find you. If back in the day the phrase, "if you build it, they will come," used to apply to customers, now it has migrated to quality workers that are doing the building and companies that are coming to them. Number 9. War is outdated and seen as primitive.
Good.
Look at what's happening in Ukraine right now. Tanks, military men shooting metal slabs and threatening a complete societal collapse with nukes. How primitive does the idea of going to war sound to this generation? Because that sense of patriotism has gone out the window, what would it take for the government to convince you to go to war and kill people you don't know? Those are power games of the past. We have technology now. Drones, unmanned planes, economic, trade, and innovation.
You still need the human on the ground. And remember, the problem was not made by those that hold the rifle, it was made by those that hold the pen. The military is an extension of a police force.
Wars. When the goal is to save the freaking planet and create a civilization back up on Mars, starting a war seems completely out of the narrative. It's almost Neanderthalian in nature. If countries want to compete, do it in technology progress. The country who generates the most value for humankind gets to sit at the top of the leaderboard and we'll all clap for them. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Humans are selfish beings, drooling over power and afraid to ridicule or lose status. It usually takes a century for the leaderboard to change, and we're seeing live the collapse of the United States economy and the rise of China. The problem is that although China is winning the economic volume war, their values when it comes to human rights, privacy, and freedoms are not aligned with those of countries who are crushing it in that department. See European countries, Japan, even the United States. Only time will tell to see how this plays out. Number 10. The new rich have different values. You know how old money wanted to have the largest mansion possible? Well, those properties are now on the market and nobody's buying them. And it's not because people can't afford them, because every day the world mints a new billionaire, every 17 hours actually. Here's where your reality might glitch a bit. Someone new becomes a millionaire every 6 seconds. These are self-made people who don't necessarily look at money and wealth the same way.
Not me. If you want to become a millionaire, team, it comes by hard work, by innovation, and by smart decisions, and not spending everything you make. And as a byproduct of that, the money comes. It's not spent on crap, and ultimately they end up with the money. But again, it comes back to, what do you see as successful? Is it the continuation of your family tree, happiness at Christmas? Okay. Is it the smiles on those you provide for? I think those that are ambitious can be the least happy of all, chasing the light that's at the end of the tunnel, which they'll never catch up with. Elon Musk is an example of 8 kids, but keeps in touch with them by email. He's going to change the world, but there'll be a cost. But that's because he's also on the spectrum, I believe, and maybe he gives as good as he can.
The previous generation did. The new rich want to be happy and fulfilled. While Jeff Bezos is taking down bridges for his mega yacht to be able to exit in an attempt to win the measuring contest, the new rich don't put that much emphasis on public displays of wealth or the massive consumption of resources. Sure, you want to live comfortably, but the houses of the new rich are smart homes that are sustainable. They offset their climate footprint and invest their wealth into life-changing tech. The who's got the bigger home narrative is for the past generation. The new rich simply want to have enough to live a comfortable life, not having to worry about money problems and use the excess to build cool shit. Just look at the youngest self-made millionaire, Sam Bankman-Fried. He barely cares about material wealth and is donating his fortune at a faster pace than any billionaire before. We're going through a cultural shift, A-Luxers, and it's time for our generation to put their foot down and decide what we're going to do with the wealth that we generate. Number 11. Old people can no longer offer advice.
Ooh.
We've officially reached.
This one's going to hit when the young are teaching the old. But what about the family values? What about wisdom? Okay, this will be very interesting. Huh, I can already feel myself, the skin on the back of my neck feels like it's tingling. Could this be anger? Could I be triggered?
The point of complete disconnect. Think of it like this. For the boomer generation, they've got 60 years of a certain speed of change.
Or what they're saying is the programming of today's society has actually reached its zenith and achieved its purpose, where they've now made you ultimately not look at those that actually gave you the life you have now like there's some sort of speed hump. Maybe it's an extension of selfishness. Who knows?
They were raised in the aftermath of winning a war where wealth was abundant and costs were low. You could buy a house with a regular-ass job. Now you need a doctorate and a working spouse to maybe see the light at the end of the tunnel in your lifetime. Their brains matured in an offline world and are unable to comprehend the complex implications of a collapsing economic system, of societal uprising where your privilege you enjoyed hasn't been transferred through generations, and it's not that the rules of the game have changed. This is a completely new game.
I'm trying, goddammit. I'm trying.
Working hard no longer builds wealth because the currency is devaluing faster than you can produce it. You need a mix of builder and sales mentality. You can no longer spend 10 years getting really good at one thing, because in 10 years, the entire market will change 4 or 5 times. We live in a period of non-linearity, where instead of walking in a straight line to your goal, you have to jump from moving tile to another moving tile in the hopes that jump after jump, you'll
Mario. But again, because this is new, that means it's not time tested, which we don't understand what we're giving up to have this new life of live in the moment, stay exciting, the fast lane, redundant.
eventually be closer. This generation is off fending for itself and figuring out where it's going in the process. Number 12. Privacy is more important than security. One thing became clear in recent years. We really care about our privacy. The state will always scare people into trading off their privacy.
How can they say that when everyone spends half their time on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and everything else in between? I don't see this privacy being one of those things.
Privacy in exchange for perceived security. You know where you're most scared? In a cage. Nothing can get in the cage while you're in it. You're no longer free, but you're secure. The question becomes, are you willing to live your life in a cage just for the sake of perceived security? What is there really to be afraid of? This new world wants to be left alone. It wants to be free, to feel alive. This is a major difference between this world and the old one. We'd rather be less secure but free than secured and controlled. Look at the populace of North Korea or even China or the US. The fact that they monitor where you are, what you like, who you're with, what you talk about, what you don't like, is infringing on your individual rights. This is one of the reasons we're moving away from a cash-based society. They want to be able to track where your purchases go. This is why they're not allowing you to buy anything.
What's going to happen when you say something, do something that they don't agree with, and all of a sudden your credit card doesn't work anymore? You start having difficulties, your Netflix won't log on. You know, the ability to silence you regardless of where you live at the press of a button if the wrong people are in charge, even without deliberate requirement, even accident. Yeah, scary.
Anything over $10,000 in cash. It's about continuous monitoring and control, disguised as protectionism from illicit activity, when in reality, we've seen illicit activities still getting a green light from them. People don't want to be held to a standard that others are free to ignore. This is why we've seen a rise in the privacy narrative. Facebook lost over $200 billion after Apple limited its data mining abilities last year. Apps like Signal and Telegram have been growing like crazy because people want to protect what's theirs. Protecting your online activity has become paramount. You can take control of your online activity with simple tools like a VPN. We've got Face ID, blockchains, and digital passports. The time has come for us to vote on the issues that are important to us on an app on our phones. Direct democracies are probably one of the immediate solutions to be implemented, especially if they prove to be effective on the local level. You're paying your taxes every single year. Do you know where that money goes?
Nope.
Probably not. What if you could hand pick where a portion of those funds will go? If there are potholes on your street, you could prioritize them, or focus your efforts on upgrading your neighborhood school or park. In the past, we've delegated powers to others, and they have mismanaged it. In the new world, power is coming back to the citizen. Number 14. Developed societies are borderless. At the beginning of this piece, we mentioned that your entire business or your office now fits on your laptop. We also discussed the rapid digital infrastructure development and the distrust we all have in our local authorities. People are moving around the planet like never before. Why should I stay? Give me a reason to live here, to contribute here, to pay taxes here, to use my skills and my ability locally. Where you live is probably the most important decision you'll ever make in life. Geography determines culture. It determines the people you'll hang out with, who you're going to marry, what business opportunities you'll follow, the food you eat, and the air you breathe. If this is the new world, best believe that people are looking for the highest return on their time. Number 15. Wealth is abundant and accessible to everyone. This new world no longer has gatekeepers. You're no longer chosen by a higher hand that will give you what you want. In this new world, you build it yourself. You need no one's permission to do it. Online, you have the same voice as a multi-billion-dollar company. You and them are fighting for...
That is not true. Okay, we already know as being a YouTuber for the last 7 years nearly, the search engine optimization, even if you put in the exact words that you've paid for through TubeBuddy or one of the other apps, it makes no difference. You still don't show up because there's things within the platforms that say this is a message that is not allowed, governed. You know, look at Mr. Beast, for example. I am not subscribed to him, yet he's on my page all the time, pushed down my throat. The same as that thumbnail of the turtle with the straw in its nose is the reason I believe why there's no plastic straws anymore, despite the fact that that turtle survived. I want my straws back.
For attention. You have all the tools necessary to learn, build, and grow. If there ever was a time where meritocracy...
We're going to see social credit scores, and I believe we're also going to see a universal pay system, which is similar to like a dole. And the whole thing is pay people to not get in trouble, to stay out of people's way, keep them appeased with what it takes to meet their limited requirements and ambition, while the rest of us get within this power play, and power is greater than money. So
democracy was at its peak. It is now, Aluxers. There's never been so much money, so much wealth generated in such a short time span. If you're smart and focused, it won't take you much more than 5 years to build more than enough wealth for you to live a comfortable life. People are scared of change, holding on to relics of the past. Those who embrace the new...
They're talking about people here that work in a city environment, those that work in a sedentary job on a laptop. Where's your food coming from? Where is your labor coming from? Where is your work crew coming from? Okay, where are those that do the roofing, the building, the creating, the backbone of our entire existence? I don't think they're talking about them here.
You will be the biggest winners of this change. The list could go on, as we're sure you've experienced changes firsthand in your life. So we're passing the question down to you. How is your world changing?
So team, this has been a fairly long video, but it's a fairly interesting video, and it's giving you some insight into 15 different subjects that one of those might really resonate with you. Maybe you can educate all of us on one of those subjects in the comments below. Let us know. I think it's important to have these conversations because if you don't, for example, if you're a truck driver, am I going to have a job in 10 years from now? If I'm going to go to university, rule one of this video, am I about to get a HEX bill that is going to leave me with a debt after my actual career doesn't exist, is redundant to society? Is the university allowing me to go into debt for a role or a responsibility that doesn't even have a commercial requirement in society? Have I been hoodwinked? What could I do as a result? This is to open doors within your mind that allows you to open a path to a better future. So let us know in comments. Subscribe to the channel. Enjoy. Sorry it went for a long time, but it's Sunday. You asked for it. You got it. Take it easy. And